Today is January 9th. It is a Monday, year of our Lord 2023, or so we are told. Okay. I was talking to my studio audience earlier, and I was giving a suggestion about some stuff that no one wants to believe. So this is a story that is from a guy who talks about the fact that what we've got around us is a dome. And this is an account from a guy who worked at McMurdo, and he was a service guy. So we're going to talk about two things. We're starting to get some comments on our videos, and I had a couple of people come forward and say, I don't know shit, and I can't prove anything. So, bitch about this. Come on, baby. Catch up with me. I know you can do it.
Years, a bunch of us applied, but only me.
So what he's talking about is he's reading a letter. This is from an old Facebook post. And he's reading this letter that this guy wrote who used to work at McMurdo. It's going to take about 2 minutes.
And one other guy got accepted. The application process had a bunch of questionnaires that we had to fill out, and we had to sit for a bunch of one-on-one interviews. It was mostly just a bunch of questions about what our interests and beliefs were. Weird that they would ask about their beliefs. I was sent to McMurdo Research Station in August of 1998. When we weren't busy de-icing the aircraft and working on them, we had time to hang out with the scientists at the research station. The military unit attached to McMurdo was small, and we didn't have our own separate facilities. We didn't have a PX or a media center. There was no chapel or chaplain, and we didn't have our own separate mailroom. We just had to share the same facilities with the scientists and researchers. So over time, I got to be friends with a few of them. They had two different kinds of ice they worked on and studied. This is where it gets interesting. One kind of ice was the normal kind that we've all seen. They took cores of it out of boreholes in the ground. Just like normal ice, it was mostly clear and sometimes white, and it would melt into liquid water if it got warm. The whole area of Antarctica is covered in this kind of ice. But that wasn't their main kind of ice. The only time I ever saw them actually studying normal ice was when a film crew from National Geographic came by. The rest of the time, which was most of the time, the scientists were studying something they called sky ice. This stuff was totally different. We were never allowed to go into the laboratory areas of the station because the labs had to be kept super clean, and they said it would mess up their work if they risked letting too many people in the lab. But one time, one of the researchers that I was friends with showed me a piece of sky ice. You couldn't touch the stuff with your bare hands because it was so cold. And it wasn't clear or white like normal ice. It was solid blue. He said that's why they call it sky ice, because it was the exact same color as the sky. We had to wear thick, heavy going outside gloves to handle it. The stuff was so cold, it would instantly freeze your skin if you touched it. I don't remember what the temperature he said it was, but it was something like hundreds of degrees below zero, way colder than the normal ice that was outside. He had to carry it in a metal bottle that was kind of like a thermos. He let me play with the piece of it for a while. It felt lighter than a piece of normal ice of the same size, like it wasn't very heavy at all. It almost felt like you could throw it up in the air and it would just float back down. But I didn't try that. And it was also a little flexible when I tried to bend it. It didn't break like normal ice would. And even for a small piece, you could see through it. It was solid blue right from the surface. And here's the really weird part. It didn't melt into water. When it got warm, because we had it inside, it just started to shrink. It got smaller and smaller, but my glove never got wet. And there was no water on the floor. The stuff just turned into thin air when it got warm and vaporized. He said that was the reason why they had to study the stuff right there in Antarctica. You couldn't take the sky ice back to America to study it because it was almost impossible to keep it cold enough during transit. And then they shared a verse right here where it says, "And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it."
So what we're saying here is that the firmament is solid. It's said to be as many as 800 miles thick. So if you go over here to our Facebook page, which we're about to launch, and you look at our profile picture, what's that look like? What's that thing in the middle? Is that a hole?
That's what it looks like.
This is from a photograph taken from SS7, which is a satellite that was up in the 60s, and it leaked. The ice fields on the surface can be observed. The hole at the North Pole can be pretty clearly seen. The hole at the North Pole can be clearly seen. You want to give me some crap in the freaking notes? Bring it. I'll do 100 of these shows. This is what sky ice looks like. It melts into oxygen. Doesn't that make sense? That's why
Wow.
oxygen gets less and less. It's a density thing. It's a density thing, okay? It's all mechanics. There's another scene here in the other sets. So this is the first thing you could not believe. You don't believe it? Piss off. This is our picture right here. Look at this. This is from a NASA satellite. You can see continents. Look at this. What's this look like down here? Buda, Italy. This is actual weather patterns. They're not all the same. If you go look at that NASA picture, which one is it? It's the blue ball. It's the blue marble Earth picture, I think is what they call it. We go over and look at this one, and you're going to see that it's pretty apparent that all of there's one of them where they just take the same weather pattern, they just copy it again and again. This one actually is not the one I'm thinking of, but there's one picture. Go look at all the pictures NASA has. You don't get this same thing. Where's the hole? Where's this? Where is it? Okay, that's number one. Let's keep going. We'll talk about shit that doesn't exist. Talk about underground cities for a minute. These are quote unquote modern underground cities. Quote. Modern. They both know that they don't ever do anything. Oh, wait, we're going to get here in a second. This is entrances into underground cities. This is steampunk, entering into an underground city in a steam-driven train. That's steam. That is not smoke. Otherwise, you'd go in here and people would die. This is an underground city. 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 These exist right now. This is a mock-up, which means that they're showing something they already have. Did you know that people underground, Starbucks, people underground don't believe in us. This is near dwelling underground. These are underground malls. You'll see there's a light line up here when we get up to street level. But the majority of these places, they're showing us this so they can get away with it.
I wonder if they have better lives down there.
I don't know. It's probably the same level of tyranny. What's this say? MDGCXXI? How many thousands of years old is that?
MD, that's 1,500, 600, 700.
71.
Yeah, something. I can't read the end.
1571.
Yep.
Oh, look at that underground. Look at this. Oh, what's that?
Whoa.
Okay. Now, does that look like an underground city to you? I don't know. What else you call it?
Yeah, looks like a condominium underground.
You don't see the stair-stepped water set. This is not part of the Tartarian water infrastructure. These are condos.
Right. Absolutely amazing. Check out the TV.
Yeah, I know. So let's keep going. How do you get to the underground cities? Drive a truck. This isn't 4 times speed, but just because it's minutes long, and I'm impatient, as well as being tall. You can drop in New York and come up in LA. Oh, look at that, road signs. Power everywhere. Traffic lights. Regular Chevy SR71 truck. This is underground. This is real. This is now. Oh, got to stop at the stop sign. Now I'm down into the big highway part, assuming trucks have their own lights. Don't want to waste any of that energy you're stealing from us. They say that alternating current power lines lose 50% in the middle of nowhere because of long line delay. Would you ever implement millions of miles of wire that was only 50% efficient? No. They're stealing it. Okay, let's keep going. Do it again. We're going to mute this guy because he's got a potty mouth. Mr. Orion Daystar. So there's some narrative. I've seen this before, and the truck driver is actually talking at one point saying how he is going to be shot if they figure out he's done this. Look at this. That's a regular dumpster company. I'll speed this up. Right now he's using the F word 17 times. Look at this. This is not the kind of digging that we would do. We used the boring company tools. This was done differently. I think that, like everything else, they stole all this shit. Look, all these people that work down there, all these trucks. So I don't know if I have any of the videos I have here, but there are blast doors that are 7 feet, 10 feet thick. Look at that. There's so much traffic.
Wow.
These are all supply trucks. They've been doing this for years. A bunch of these are under Walmarts. No shit. That's true.
Under the Walmarts.
Yeah, did you know the SKU system for Walmart fulfillment and distribution matches the SKU system for DARPA infrastructure? The Walmarts were supposed to be where they corralled us and controlled everything.
You want to know that my husband went down that rabbit hole in 2010? Where there was video after video after video how Walmart stores had underground tunnels to entrap us and
and okay, look, I'm back up. Here's this guy's back up. Here, I got one more for you.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. This one, let's see what I got here.
Eventually.
Sure what he's talking about here. Oh, these are aerial photos. I think he's tracking where they come up and come out. So the part of this narrative is that you can go get in a truck and come up in another country, and this is the same infrastructure that holds the pneumatic tubes. So I was trying to keep this short. So you want 2 things to bitch about? I got sky ice.
Did this whole
This is the way the piece is. He's looking at piezoelectric firmament sets and comparing lightning. You know, lightning doesn't go up or down. It meets in the middle. Here we are watching stuff get all the way to the top of Apex. All the rockets follow the same path. Look at that thing. It's coming back down. You have to avoid the firmament. They land in a remote location, maybe the Bermuda Triangle. I got firmament. I got it in scripture. I got underground highways. Look at this. On BitChute, I find 3. This is suppressed. This is an underground old salt mines, quote unquote. Look, this is under Detroit. You ever heard of this place under Detroit?
I've heard a lot of things about that area.
Yeah, well, most of it involves gunfire above ground. So that go look, Michigan's an old stronghold. So look, you want to talk about things you don't want to believe? This is one of them. So, say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gandalf.